Hey, City Church family, Pastor Jason here. I thought that I would record my Advent reflection instead of writing one for you. As you can see, I'm in our church sanctuary. It seemed that having an empty church sanctuary would serve as an appropriate backdrop for my reflection, given the dynamics of church life this year and how COVID has impacted Sunday worship and our ability to gather in the ways that we are used to. Wow, it's been such a strange and difficult year, hasn't it? It hasn't been the year that any of us could have ever anticipated or expected when the year first began. 2020 is our 10-year anniversary as a church, believe it or not. And coming into the year, there were so many different ways that we imagined how we might celebrate our anniversary, this milestone, together. And when COVID hit in March, we realized that we were going to have to adjust our plans. I remember thinking, well, let's wait. Let's wait until summer, because maybe then we'll be able to celebrate in the ways that we imagined. Well, summer eventually came, and we realized that it was still not a possibility. But I remember thinking, well, let's wait, because maybe when fall comes, we'll be able to celebrate our anniversary in the ways that we imagined. Well, as you know, fall eventually came, and we realized that it was still not a possibility for us. And so we continue to wait. My hope is that sometime in 2021, we'll be able to celebrate our 10-year anniversary together, even though it will technically be our 11th year. But waiting is hard, and this year has been marked by so much waiting, hasn't it? We've waited and waited and waited. We waited for the shutdown to end. We've waited for whether there would be a second wave. We waited for COVID cases to drop. We waited for vaccines to become available. We've done so much waiting this year. One of the scripture passages that was listed for our Advent readings this month was Psalm 37. And verse 7 in particular of this psalm really struck me when I read it. It says, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him." One of the reasons why waiting is so hard is because it requires patience. And I don't know about you, but I'm not always a patient person. And there have been so many times this year when I have been restless, when I have been impatient, when I've had the thought of, oh, I am just so done with this. I'm so over COVID. I can't wait for this to be gone. And I'm sure you've had the same feelings, the same experiences, the same attitudes. It's been a hard year of waiting. It's been a year filled with sorrow because of sickness and death all around us. And I just want to encourage you with something. I know that I have failed in my waiting in so many ways this year. The theme of our Advent season has been waiting, because we acknowledge that, wow, this year in all kinds of ways has been about waiting. And so maybe we will be able to receive the coming of Jesus and the heart of Advent in a way that maybe we've never been able to in the past because of how we are required to wait in this season. But as we've explored this theme this season and really offered the challenge and the invitation to make the most of this time in which we have been forced to slow down some. We've invited you to enter into that for reflection, to really wait on Jesus and the fulfillment of his promises, possibly in ways that you never have before. But I recognize that maybe that hasn't happened for you. Maybe you haven't been able to wait well. Maybe you have felt like you have failed in your waiting this year. You have failed in your waiting this Advent season. And even as you look back on this month, you have regret. You wish that you would have used it differently. You wish that you would have really maybe devoted more energy and time and space to the growth of your faith. Well, here's my encouragement to you. Even when we fail to wait, Jesus still promises to come. That is incredibly good news. Even when we fail to wait, Jesus still promises to come. And so in all of our failings this year, in all of our failings in the area of waiting, we don't prevent Jesus from eventually coming. Jesus will fulfill his promises. He will come through. One day, he will come to make all things new again. And we can rest in those promises. But I also want to say this. It's not too late to make the most of this time. Even when the Advent season comes to a close, even when the holidays are over, COVID will still be with us. Yes, we see the light at the end of the tunnel with the vaccines that are becoming available, but COVID is still going to be with us even after the holidays. And we're going to find ourselves in very similar circumstances for some time to come. And so it's not too late to make the most of this time, to really reflect, to slow down and to look to Jesus. And so, brothers and sisters, City Church family, let's covenant together to do that, to look to Jesus, to make the most of the time. I can't wait until the day comes when we can gather together normally, when we can experience community together in the ways that we are accustomed to. That day will come, but until then, may you experience the presence of Jesus, and Merry Christmas to you all. I love you all.